All right. Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And Rambo: Last Blood might be the last This might be the last new Rambo movie that we ever get to do in our lives.
All I gotta say is, dudes and dudettes, Major League Butt Kicking is back in town. All right. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference. But yes, oh my fuck. It could be the very, very last one, like you say. Hopefully not. I don't care if that motherfucker's 98 years old. I want to see him slinging goddamn Tommy guns and talking about it's a long road when you're on your own.
Yeah, he said something recently where he's like, I just don't go outside of my box anymore. He was like, because when I do go outside of my box, I end up with stop or my mom will shoot. He's like, I know what I'm supposed to be. He's like, I know that I'm fucking Rambo. I know that I'm Rocky. I know that I'm a badass. And you gotta give Sylvester Stallone shit tons of fucking credit, dude. Not just for being at the age that he's doing, but still being in love with this shit. Like, he's just doing what he loves, man. He loves action movies. He loves kicking ass. He loves revenge stories. He loves blood. He loves violence. And he loves action movies. I said that twice.
I think he says, give me fuel, give me fire, give me Reba McEntire.
Ooh,
I think that, you know, Sylvester Stallone is the last leftover of that great 80s action surge that we had, 80s and 90s action surge, and he doesn't give a shit to continue to stay in that vein, stay in that moment, and continues giving us badass films like that. Like this one being the prime example of In Last Blood. Man, it was everything that, as far as a Rambo movie, that I wanted to see. When I went and seen it, I'm like, I'm getting every fucking thing I want. I'm getting bloods, I'm getting guts, I'm getting gore. I'm not getting a gratuitous sex scene. That's okay. Maybe later. I didn't get it. But then I'm getting blood, gore, guts, and then don't forget violence and gore.
He doesn't do that in a lot of his movies. If you notice, there's almost always, well, maybe not always, maybe I'm just thinking of like Balboa and certain movies like that. But in a lot of these movies, you think that there's a girl that him as the main guy is going to bang.
I think I was thinking more of a Steven Seagal. I was like, oh yeah, I like that.
I like that.
It felt not so. What was his name? Goddamn, Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal had like a fuck scene with every girl that he ever had. Like, it just, maybe that's what I was thinking. But yeah, either way, but Rocky or Rambo films have always been like very violent, and they've always been like it's more concentric on the fact like this. I'm like, you know, he's a Vietnam vet and he's trying to find his way, and people keep, why you pushing? Let it go. Like, he's always had that and maintained that throughout. And I think he continues to do it in this film. Man, I fucking love this movie. I really did.
I feel like Steven Seagal behind the scenes is like standing there, and he's just like, there's like a lunch lady walking by. He's like, come here, I want to have sex with her. And they're like, dude, she's the lunch lady, Steve. She's not even in the plot. He's like, write it in. I want to have sex with that.
And he goes like this with his hand. He's like, I don't care.
Have her make me a sloppy Joe and some tippiness. You know?
But do you know how crazy it's a crime?
That's just how Steven Seagal is. But no, I liked it a lot too, man. And the first thing I want to say is, obviously this is no spoiler review. No spoilers at all. The plot's really, really simple. It's a revenge plot. Someone Stallone loves gets taken over the border to Mexico. She gets kidnapped, like Liam Neeson's taken type situation. Yeah. And really, really bad things happen. Surprisingly bad things happen. And he goes on revenge, and he has this home built on this ranch that he, just because and they even mentioned in the movie, just because he's a little bit crazy and he just likes to do shit like that, he's built these incredible tunnels and this elaborate setup underneath his ranch where he's at, and he uses that to try to take down this entire cartel to get revenge in the most violent and fucking rad of ways imaginable. And that's the plot. But I want to say real quick before we start this is that if you read the reviews that are coming out for this movie, they're just wrong. And I'm not talking about whether or not the movie's good, because unfortunately, and I won't go on too big of a fucking rant about it, but unfortunately, most of the mainstream critics out there don't actually tell you whether or not a movie's good or bad. They just want to talk about their political beliefs, because they should be working for MSNBC or Fox News or whoever the fuck. But instead, they're reviewing movies and they're pissed about it. I really wish that these people would go and work for these political outlets and let people who love movies and actually want to talk about fucking movies write about them. But that's neither here nor there, Jack.
How about this? Let me get in on this action, sir. How about this? Take the fucking tampon out in your mouth and soak that bitch out and fucking take it out your butthole. Because all I'm hearing and all I'm seeing every time I fucking click on the internet, when I read an article about this bullshit, it's too much violence, too much. What movie did you think you were going to go see?
It's Rambo.
It's not called Rambanina, the fucking based on the best-selling goddamn Broadway play. If that's what you want to go fucking see, then go see it. Don't give us your bullshit, politically skewed ideas of what you think is non-violent or what is violent. I don't fucking want to hear it. And you know what? I love the fact that I think, generally speaking, the audiences are going to eat this shit up. To me, Stallone is a guy that's got the banana bag and got the drip that we need walking around, be like, hey, don't let this shit get you down. I got some good for you. Here's a fucking knife through the face in the latest movie that I just made.
Hey man, I ain't falling for no banana, no tailpipe.
It's going to be good. But yeah, I mean, it's just so fucking, like, god damn, what a society we live in. You bunch of fucking snowflakes.
So if you're thinking about going to see this movie and whether or not you should, just don't read the critics' reviews, because basically they don't actually talk about whether or not this is a good Rambo movie. Per the fucking usual, they took this as though he was trying to make some stand, some anti-immigration stand. But if you look back in May, he just did an article with Hollywood Reporter where he's talked to them about how he's a non-political person and Rambo's political, but he didn't mean it that way, and it just kind of fell into that lap. And one of the Rocky movies that he wants to make really badly is to be for him to be training an immigrant, an illegal immigrant who got kicked out of his country and rising above all that stuff. So he's not anti-immigrant or whatever. And despite how you feel about that, it's whatever. We don't talk about this on the channel. But the point I'm trying to make is he's being accused of this is like a pro-Trump movie because they show the wall or whatever. It's like, it's because it's based between Arizona and Mexico, and there's a fucking wall between them.
There's an aerial shot that shows the wall one fucking time.
It doesn't mean anything.
And it's like, okay, so you're making a scene in Mexico, and you're like, okay, so I guess you got to show the landscape around surrounding a border. There's a fucking wall there. Like, what am I supposed to do? Is he supposed to just, like, it'd be funny, like, he shoots the desert and then he just shoots a fucking open space because I can't show the wall. God. I mean, what would happen if I showed the wall?
It's literally about and not just that, but people are saying, I've read several times because, people copy each other.
Yeah.
It's what they do in this business. And then what they but I've seen several times, because people copy each other so often, I've seen this line that, like, oh, it's terrible, oh yeah, let's go kill all the bad Mexicans and have a white savior do it. It's like, guys, he's doing this to protect Mexicans in the movie. Like, that is the most, like, are we so, like, PC and so focused on trying to point shit out with people that all we see is color and nationality in people? We don't see bad guys and good guys anymore? He's killing fucking cartel members who are running a sex trafficking ring. They are bad guys. He is a good guy. It's not about fucking
That's what I was going to say, exactly. Yeah, it's not saying that all Mexicans that live in Mexico are the most evil, vile, disgusting human beings to ever fucking walk on Earth. Rambo comes in as a United States American former Marine to go track them down and kill everything and make them look in a bad light. These are the worst, vile, disgusting human beings possible. They get girls and they sex traffic them out. They get them addicted to drugs, and that's what Rambo does. He's setting the wrongs and making right the bad things that went wrong. I mean, what the fuck do you?
You should have made him white sex trafficker.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't have enough fucking time to get to read your article before I wrote my goddamn movie. I'm sorry. Next time I'll do that for you, you fucking sweetheart. But how about this also? On top of that, the fact that Sylvester Stallone has come out already and said, like Mike said, that it's not a political movie. I'm not trying to make a political statement. I'm just making a good fucking movie that people want to see. Can we just not agree the fact that if you want to be sympathetic to pedophiles, to fucking cartel members, or any kind of gang member, then go do that on your own goddamn time and start a fucking fundraiser. I'm sure it's going to go real fucking well for you. Otherwise, keep your fucking mouth shut and enjoy a movie called Rambo, which is all about guns, gore, violence, and having a great time with your friends. It's a bro movie. It's not a bro movie. Well, I don't care what. It's just a fucking throwback to the 80s action stuff. And that's what I wanted to see. I didn't even read one iota of political bullshit in this movie at all, which is why I loved it so much. And you could make arguments and comparisons that it's a socio kind of experiment, and they're not experimenting, but they're taking a look at society as a whole. I don't even think that much of it, really. I'm watching a movie and I'm absorbed into it.
And the point of the movie, and he could not say it any clearer in this point. There's at one point where the girl who gets kidnapped is trying to talk him into, because he's kind of become her caretaker since her dad left.
Yeah.
She's trying to talk him into letting her go to Mexico, to a dangerous part of Mexico, because she wants to see her real dad. And he literally explains the point of the movie fucking right there for all of you people to understand. He explains it. He's like, you don't understand how black the hearts of some men can be. Yeah. It's like, you're young. You don't know how dark the world.
You said black.
Really
you're
be.
Racist. I can't even believe you right now.
What have I done?
Get away from me.
I love Save the Last Kids.
Get away from me.
But yeah. So anyway, that's all for that. Just don't listen to the reviews of it because it's all political shit.
But as far
as a good Rambo movie,
man. At the end of the day,
good.
I walked out of that motherfucker, and I'm already wearing a plaid shirt. I really wanted just to go. I wanted to go get some meat and potatoes and fucking have a Budweiser and watch football. Like, I don't know, man. like it was so energetic and so like enthralling as far as the film goes. It really drew me in, and like the story and stuff like that. I mean, it's a Rambo film. The only Rambo movie besides maybe Part 2 that I was really into as far as the story and you know what was going on was maybe The First Blood, which is still the best of all time. That was the only one that I was really involved in the story. But not say that this story is bad, but it's a straight.
It's entrancing.
Yeah, I thought you said it was enchanting.
It's intoxicating.
Listen, it's not Ramonina.
It's erotic.
It is erotic. When the fucking gore and the violence start happening, the very first moment of that, when the fucking Rambo dude breaks a dude's collarbone and is doing this shit with it back and forth, like he's goddamn wax oning and wax offing, and he's like, just tell me where she is now. I'm like, oh my
he
god,
rips off layers of people's skin,
and dude, they show it, man. They go deep in that fucker. And again, and I also will point out that the practical effects were fucking badass. Again, something that's sorely missing in today's world. Yeah. And again, man, it's always hard for me to distinguish Sylvester Stallone's character, because you've got John Rambo and then you've got Rocky. Every time he talks, though, I just hear Rocky. You know, it's like
literally thinking it's like Rambo is hell and Rocky is heaven. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's kind of like in between. Like, I guess it's like this is what happened to Rocky when he finally couldn't beat Apollo, or like if things had gone differently. Too, though, yeah. But it's like when he was talking to one of the characters and he was giving the speech about why you can't do this certain thing because, like, you know, men's hearts are black, like Mike said, and there are some people that won't walk away from being a bad guy. I just felt like at any point, like he was going to be like, hey, you knocked him down, why don't you try knocking me down? But it's nothing against Sly, because I mean,
that's how winning gets done.
Sylvester Stallone is an amazing actor, like he really is. Like, and he stuck around. He's really smart as far as business wise. Like he knew how to make it happen for him and keep him as far as relevant. He stayed relevant, but. Man, the whole movie, as far as, like, again, I don't want to say it's too simple of a movie. It is, but, like, it kind of feels like an Old West kind of thing, too. A retired gunfighter that has to be drawn back into it one more time.
It's a revenge story.
I love it, man. I love it.
It's a revenge story, and it's clean. Like, it's very, very quick
smooth,
moving. Like, yeah, well, let's see what Rambo's doing, what he's up to. Let's get you acquainted with the people in his family. Let's tell the story real quick. Let's show the bad guys. Let's have the bad shit happen. Let's have him get his heart broken and have all.
You think if they paid more money, he would have grown his hair out?
And then I wish. And then let's have the revenge scene, and the revenge scene takes over like the last like half an hour of the movie, like the big fucking blowout action scene, and it's totally worth it. And I think what this director did really good was all the shots were like super up close to people's faces, sometimes to an awkward point, like the camera's like right up in people's faces when they're speaking, but. And it feels weird when they're talking at the beginning of the movie, but when he starts to go on the trail and starts to track shit down and he's pissed, like when he finds out what happens, he gets in his truck and he drives off and you're just thinking, man, he's gonna fuck shit
I got pissed with him. Go get him, John!
I felt it. Like I could feel his anger.
It was good.
And he goes and like the first person, like, he sees, like, he opens the door up and he like slams his hands behind him on the door, and it like jumped me in my seat because it's all so up close and so loud and in your face. Like I really felt like Rambo's anger in this entire movie, and that's a testament to Stallone and how good he is. But the movie, the only thing bad I'll say about it is it's rough around the edges. Some of the dialogue points could have been a little bit better. Some of the story points could have been a little bit better. The ending as a whole is fucking amazing, but the very, 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 like, the dialogue of the ending, the way the movie goes to the credits, I'll say, is kind of clunky.
Also the thing is, I didn't think there was that many guys. Like, you know, that when you know, at the end, and then it's like, I was like, where the fuck did these extra dudes come in? I was like, were they just grabbing extras from the street? They're like, he's killing everything.
Yeah, it's like, it looks like 20 people ran up to the ranch, but I'm pretty sure he killed 2,000.
It was like, they just sent out a fucking red balloon of like, anybody that wants to get killed by Rambo, come on. And he's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. But I mean, dude, the one thing is, though, at the end of that movie, the way that they pull back and just the shot and the last few words that are said, man, I'm like, fuck. I mean, yeah, it's kind of a Cracker Barrel ending, like sitting on the fucking, bench or something, but I'm like, man, I enjoyed it. It was like, I don't know, man, like, I can't say too much because I don't want to give it away, but yeah, and I know the bad guys in it are a bit like whatever. Like, yeah, it's not like you're gonna fucking walk and talk about it when you leave the theater. I mean, I don't care about that. I didn't expect they were gonna have anybody like a Javier Bardem or something like that leading the charge in the bad guys areas. But it was just cannon fodder to the man of Rambus and like fucking killing it. And I don't care about that. Like, I mean, really, the only bad guy that I remember specifically from any of the Rambo films, other than the crazy Russian guy from the third one, I don't even remember his name, but is the sheriff from the town in the first one.
Right.
That's the only only guy. And
That's true.
And it sucks. I really wanted to see a Yoda or a fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi ghost scene with Colonel Troutman. He's like, it's over. I was like, nothing is over. Nothing.
There's a really cool, not post-credit sequence, but they do a nice homage to Rambo in the post-credits. So it's a nice thing to
I
stay
didn't know
around
they had
and
a
watch.
post-credit scene.
No, it's not a post-credit scene, but when the credits come up, where they show like all the old movies and shit like that.
Oh, that's badass.
It's really,
I didn't see.
cool.
I will see as soon as the directed by thing I left.
But the last thing I'll say is that halfway through this movie, I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, man, this is just one of those movies that you just don't get bored watching.
No.
Like, the entire fucking time, I never checked my watch. I never thought, like, okay, well, is the end coming up soon? I've got shit to do. The entire time, it wasn't my favorite Rambo movie.
I'm gonna go blow dry my
like
hair.
I said, there was clunky stuff about it, but and it's not like a movie. It's not like I cried or anything like that. It didn't really fucking land emotionally or anything like that. It doesn't need to. It's a Rambo movie. I mean, Rambo has landed emotionally.
The First Blood,
before.
yeah, for sure.
But it was just a really good Rambo film, and the action and the gore and the shit they did with several points in the movie, the last set piece especially, was just so well done, and it was so just fucking poignant, you know? That it landed everything it wanted to land. It was just a good, entertaining movie, and one of the better movies in the Rambo franchise, a franchise that doesn't have. Really, the third one's the only one that you'd be like, that one's kind of a stinker. I still even like that movie. So it's rare that you get 5 movies, whereas only one of them is kind of like, it's a little fucking me, you know. But a
little bit of goddamn video game.
4 out of 5 are like generally understood. Like, these are pretty good damn movies. So that's amazing for a franchise. So if this is the end of the day for Rambo, went out on a bang, and I fucking hang my hat to Sylvester Stallone. He's like, think about all the action movies you've gotten over the past like 10 years, and how many of them he's had a hand in. Just bring you back that old school 80s, 90s testosterone. If it weren't for Stallone still being alive and still fucking kicking ass and being a badass, and Schwarzenegger, of course, as well, we wouldn't have even gotten these throwbacks to these awesome moments. So I salute you, sir. Amazing fucking job. I give the movie an 8.0. It's really more of a 7.5 overall, but I bump it to an 8 just because I love Sylvester Stallone so fucking much, and I respect this movie, and it's getting shit on unfairly. So
I'm gonna give it a 9, dude. I liked it that fucking much. That, like, it was one of those movies that like, it's been a while. Like, I've actually walked out of the theater and just be like, fuck yeah, I would go back around and watch that goddamn movie again.
I could.
It was one of those movies that was so good that if there was a double feature happening, I'd go stick to this theater and watch it again. Like, it was like, and again, Sylvester Stallone is one of those guys that can draw you in like nobody's business. Like in those Rocky films, and even though people have said Rocky and Rambo are repetitive and they're the same story with different kind of layerings on top of it, it doesn't matter even if that's true. It's not true, but even if that were true, it would still be enough because he is so good at pulling people into that moment, that character, that happening, that you're going to enjoy what he's going to show you. And Rambo has always been a unique individual because it's a dying breed, and that's sad to say. In our world and the time that we live in, Rambo is one of the last few bastions of what it used to be like to go have fun and watch action films as a kid. Like, there's not many of those left. Like Rocky and Rambo, yes, and that's it. I mean, I can't think of any other series that's really lasted and stood the test of time like those. Well, not that
they tried, but yeah,
not that's like continuing to be made and added onto. Yeah. And the mythology of Rambo will continue with newer generations and loving and enjoying it. And again, it's such a simple idea that the idea of John Rambo, from what he started with First Blood to Last Blood, and then going through all these changes and transformations and then getting to the end. Honestly, if you look at it as an arc, as a 5-series arc, it's like, damn, that was really a fucking well-told epic. Because it's like one man's journey from where he started.
I actually don't like to look at it that way, though, because for me, I'm like, when you look, for me, in my eyes, when I look at all the movies, I was thinking about that earlier, when you look at all the movies together as one in that, I'm like, there's no fucking way all this shit would happen to one fucking guy. But it's the movies,
well,
it's the fucking
but he
movies.
was, well, as far as a guy that was, trained elite and he'd had all these friends, back there, I could fly a gunship, I could drive a tank. Back here, I can't hold a chop bucket, gauze. Fucking gauze. like just from that, a damaged, destroyed man where all of his friends are gone, and then, finding a way to maybe reconcile himself as the movies go along, and then getting used to what he is and where he is, and then losing things again, and then going back up and finding a family, and then having to fight again. I just think, like, it just works. Like, and I'm just really happy that Sly made the movie, and I'm really happy that he fucking went all out with the movie, and he didn't let the bullshit that's surrounding him, all the little whores with their fucking little wings flying around, like, oh my god, blood, get away. Like, I'm glad that he was like, fuck it. And he basically stood his ground in the sand, like fucking not Rocky, but Rambo 3, and was like, they're surrounding us, Rambo, what should we do? He's like, fuck them. Spread it on. I love it, man. 9.0, 8.0 for you. Definitely, if you're a Rambo fan, go check it out. If you're just an action junkie, go check it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's that good. It really is a great movie, man.
Absolutely, man. Comment down below what are your all's thoughts. We love your fucking faces. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn fucking wham in ya.
You know, Rambo's also one of those movies that always made you feel like when you if you ever got wounded, if you could actually pull that shit off. Like in Rambo 3, when he fucking puts that gunpowder and he's like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, I would just sit there and scream at it.
I would too. There's a hole in my fucking stomach. I wasn't aware the Wachati were biters. Bumblebee tuna.